A Linux server is a combination of hardware and software. The hardware is anything with a processor, RAM, and storage. The software is of course a Linux distro, providing services on the network. Usually they're installed with no graphical interface, as it isn't needed. A server can be used for many things. Commonly you'll see them used for network storage and providing backends for network applications. Learning how to set up and use a Linux server is great for anyone looking to get into IT, or if you just like a challenge. By the end of this video, you'll know the essential commands and methods to setting up a Linux server. So let's dig right in. Join the Discord server linked below to get 10% off your life expectancy. The first thing you need to do to set up your server is get hardware to do it. This can be something as simple as an old laptop with the battery taken out, or a 50-pound rack-mounted Dell R720. If you're just getting started, you can also pick up a cheap used mini PC off eBay. They work great. This is my preferred method, but what works best for you depends on your use case. The next thing you need is to pick your Linux flavor. There isn't just one Linux server operating system. There are dozens of branches of different families of distributions that are all unique. We'll focus on the things that are most similar in this video, but if you want to follow along directly, we'll be using Ubuntu 26.04 server. This is generally the most popular server OS, so you'll be able to find the most help online for it. Don't overthink your first distro choice. Alright, now we need to get the OS downloaded. Simply navigate to Ubuntu's website, follow the simple menus to the download page, and download the ISO. Next, you need to flash the ISO to a thumb drive. You can do this using Rufus on Windows or Balena Etcher on pretty much anything. I'm going to walk through the installation process on a virtual machine for the sake of ease, but you'll be doing this with your hands on the keyboard and a screen plugged in. So this is what you do. First we need to select our language, which is English. We're going to continue without updating the installer. Layout English, that's correct. And then it's going to ask us, do we want to install Ubuntu Server or Ubuntu Server Minimized? Let's go with plain old Ubuntu Server. Now it's asking for us to set up an IP address, so we will simply hit the up arrow key here and then do edit IPv4, change this to manual, and then we need to give it the subnet. So that in my case is 192.168.0/24. Then we need to give it an IP address. Let's give it 67. Then we need to enter the gateway, so the router it'll use to communicate out. My router is on 254. Then we need to add name servers. I'm just going to throw quad 8 in there. Okay, so we've set up our networking. Now it's going to just validate that everything's okay, which it is, so we'll hit done. Then it's going to ask us if we want to set up a proxy. You're probably not going to have a proxy, so let's leave that blank. Finally, it's going to actually update the list of available software so that it can validate that yes, in fact, everything's working as intended. Now it's going to ask us about how we want to lay out our disk. I prefer to not use an LVM group. It's not really too relevant to this video. I'll make another video where I talk about it some more, but for now, just know it's easiest to turn that off. We'll hit done here. And then finally it's asking us to just review the summary of the file system layout it's going to use. So we will hit continue. And now it's actually installing the system on our hardware. So now we should enter our personal information. We're going to name the server. We'll just call this one video. Then we'll give it a username and a password. And I'm going to choose a super secure, super secret password. It's going to ask us if we want to use Ubuntu Pro. The answer is no. So we'll continue there. Now this part's very important. It's asking us to install OpenSSH Server. We definitely want that, so make sure you tick that box before you hit done. Now it's asking us what software we want to pre-install. I'm going to leave this blank and just hit done. And now you can see that the server is going through its installation process. Now we will log in for the first time. Set up your hardware by your network equipment and plug it into power and the network via an Ethernet cable. Do not use Wi-Fi if you can avoid it. Now on your laptop or desktop computer, open a terminal. On Windows, this is PowerShell. On macOS and Linux, it is usually just an app called Terminal. Now we will type ssh pat at 192.168.1.67. Replace the username and IP address with the ones that you selected. And we are now connected after entering our password, and we're ready to finish the setup process. The first thing you'll want to do is update the system. The commands you use will vary depending on the distribution. On Ubuntu, we'll use apt. Apt is a package manager. A package manager is a piece of software, usually pre-installed, that manages the other software on the computer. Think of it like a curated app store that you can select your wanted software from. This is different than the Windows world, where each program is responsible for updating itself. On Linux, this is all done by the package manager. Much cleaner. Okay, enough yapping. What you'll do is type sudo apt update and hit enter. You will be asked for your password, after which the list of software and updates will be updated. Note that it just updated the list of software, not the software itself. For that, we will run sudo apt upgrade. You can combine two commands by using two and signs, which will say run this, then run this. If we tack -y to the end of sudo apt upgrade, it will not ask us to confirm before running updates. So if we do sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade tack y, it will do everything in one command. Speaking of commands, let's talk about some of them. So most of the commands I'm going to show you involve navigating around the file system. A file system is a tree-like organization structure where folders and files are nested under layers of folders. Linux has a pretty simple structure. Running the tree command gives you a map of where everything is. You'll want to move around the file system to interact with the different items in each folder. So to do this, you'll need a few commands. First is pwd. This is print working directory. In this circumstance, print means to display on the screen. Remember that. So this is where we are in the file system. The first slash is root, or the first folder in the tree. Let's go there and look around. To do that, we'll use the cd command. It stands for change directory. So cd/enter. Now we're in the root directory. From here we can run ls, which will list the folders and files in this directory. You're looking at the top level folder structure now. If we want to go home, we can type cd home. We may want to edit text at some point. To do this, we can use the program nano. So let's open the sshd config file in nano. So nano/config/ssh/sshd-config. What's this? We got rejected because we don't have admin rights. To fix this, run the same command by pressing the up arrow, but put sudo in front of it to run it as root, the highest privilege level on the system. Now let's install something. I'm going to use the apt command again, this time running sudo apt install cockpit tack y. Remember, sudo is saying run as admin, apt is the program we're running, install is the command we're running from that program, and cockpit is the software package we want to install. And finally, that argument, tac_y, is telling it to not ask for confirmation to save us some typing. Cockpit is a web UI that we can use to manage the server, but we need to tell it to run as a service. So how do we manage services? Well, using systemctl. Simply type sudo systemctl enable tac now cockpit.socket. Again, sudo is telling it to run as admin, systemctl is the program we're running, enable is the command of the program we're calling, tac now is the argument, and finally is the name of the service, cockpit.socket. Now, a couple other housekeeping items. You want to give each person who uses a server their own account on it. We can do this by running sudo add user pat2, for example, where again sudo is to run as admin, and user add is the program, and pat2 is the account we want to create. Now, if we want, we can give this user admin rights to use sudo. This can be done with sudo usermod tac_ag sudo. I think you see the pattern by now. The last thing I want to show you is how to use the firewall. First, we need to make sure that SSH works through the firewall because, of course, we want to still be able to connect to the server to manage it. This can be done with sudo ufw allow open SSH. Now we turn on the firewall. Sudo ufw enable. The firewall is now active and it will allow SSH traffic. So now you know the basics of getting a Linux server up and running. Look out for the next episode in this series where I show you how to secure the new server. Subscribe so you don't miss it. If you're still here, you may be interested in a channel update. First of all, thank you all for over 6,000 subscribers. To think that many people decided they want to hear what I have to say is humbling. I'm grateful for each of you. I've been receiving a higher than normal volume of sponsorship offers. I've rejected almost all of them so far. When I have a sponsor, I want to make sure it is something interesting that would actually benefit my viewers. So in the future, when I have the next sponsor selected, if it doesn't hit the mark, tell me so I can better know what you expect and like. New vid this week. Catch you next time.